Excited to welcome Scott Milanovich to Indianapolis as the new quarterbacks coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Coach, you spent last season as the head coach in Edmonton of the CFL. Your season got canceled because of COVID-19. Prior to that, you were in Jacksonville. What was this last year like for you before the opportunity presented itself to join the Indianapolis Colts?
Like everybody, it was really awkward for us. It was worse for the Canadian Football League because it's so driven on ticket revenue and doesn't have the the TV deals that they have in the NFL to make it go. So fiscally, it just didn't make sense for us to play. The owners were going to lose too much money, and it kind of gave the coaches an opportunity to really dive deep into studies. And I got to watch a lot of NFL film and a lot of college film and try to brush up on some things that I thought we needed to be doing offensively. But it was awkward. It's first year in 20-some years that I hadn't been a part of a football season. So it was hard from that standpoint for sure.
You have great familiarity with Coach Reich and also Marcus Brady. You and Coach Brady spent a number of years together in the CFL. You won back-to-back championships together. How much did that relationship come into play in your decision to come in as the quarterbacks coach?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had great respect for Frank. I first met Frank when he came. I was in Montreal coaching, and I think Marcus was playing at that time, and Frank came up to speak to the team because he had a relationship with Mark Trestman, who was the head coach. And both of us haven't gone to Maryland. We kind of hit it off, and I actually came to visit him when he was like the quarterbacks coach here years and years ago and stayed with him, and we kind of just, our relationship grew, and we stayed in contact. And so I already had a good relationship with Frank, and then obviously I worked side by side with Marcus for almost a decade. Our families are close. We see the game, I think, very similarly. So, the opportunity to work for a good organization with a guy I believe in Frank, and a guy, Marcus, that I have so much faith in. It was hard to leave to be a head coach, and the people that are relying on you there in Edmonton. But it was really a no-brainer to come join this.
One thing that Coach Brady has cited a lot and noted a lot is with that CFL experience, bringing in a unique perspective and bringing in a different dynamic. What are those things, those different elements from the CFL game that you guys can now implement with this offense?
Yeah, having been in the NFL for the 3 years prior to last year, the new wave of things was the RPOs, and that's something that has been going on in Canada for 2 decades. So I'd say we're very comfortable with that. We're very comfortable with a little bit of more the new age offensive philosophy of get your playmakers the ball in space, because that's a huge part of what you have to do up there. So yeah, I think it's a benefit. We all played down south. We all play 11-man football, but then having the ability to see the I guess the aggressiveness, the creativity that comes from being in Canada and the different rules, I think it helps.
Coach Reich always reinforces that collaborative environment within that quarterback's room. How do you describe that dynamic and the different strengths, the different personalities that you, Coach Reich, and Coach Brady all bring in?
I think it's a great thing. There's so many, our offensive staff has so many guys that have played the position. Certainly, I don't think you have had to play the position to be able to coach it, but it definitely helps because you have a perspective that other guys don't. There's things that you see having played the position, just a guy flash in front of your face, or why did he get off that receiver? That I think the progression's a little bit simpler, maybe a little bit faster, but it's just easy for us to speak. The communication goes so quickly because we think the same way. I'm still getting to learn all these guys, and I never have coached with Frank, but Mike Rose, former quarterback, Press, former quarterback. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to hear the creativity in the room.
You mentioned Maryland. You were quarterback at Maryland, like another coach that we know. Of course, Frank Reich played there. Defensive line coach Brian Baker, also a Terrapin. What is it about the Maryland program producing NFL coaches?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the reason I went to Maryland was, and Frank was one of the first, is they had sent 6 straight quarterbacks to the NFL. That's with Boomer and Frank and Neil O'Donnell, and I can't even remember them all at this point. But that was the reason why I went there. I don't know. I can't answer that. I was never a great NFL player. They always say that the best players don't make the best coaches. So I won't speak for Frank. He might be sensitive about that. But I think that perspective, and I think Maryland had an NFL offense before its time. I think those are all kind of reasons why we've been able to transfer to the coaching ranks.
Well, Coach, so great to have you here in Indy. Welcome. Excited to get to know you and see you get to work with this offense.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.